Okay. Welcome everybody to today's Lunch and Learn. We have a special guest. We have Jenny here to answer any of your Dreambox questions. And if there seems to be a lot, I think she's got some plans to show you some resources and how to kind of figure Dreambox out, because for some of you, I know it's pretty new. And she'll explain what Dreambox is and how to use all the resources for it. So Jenny, take it away.
All right. First, is there anybody on that does not yet have a Dreambox account? That we're working on it for all of the schools, but is everybody here have a Dreambox account? Yes. Okay. Okay. It looks like yes. Awesome. Okay. I did receive a couple of responses back and some questions, so I'm going to try to do my best to go over those, and then I can answer any of your other questions as well. As Erica said, there's actually some really great resources on Dreambox, and I won't be able to answer all of your questions today, probably in half an hour, but I want to show you where those are so that you can always go and find them. And then if you still can't find your answer, please reach out to me. I do my very best. If I don't know the answer, I reach right out to Amy Johnson. She is our representative for Dreambox, and she is phenomenal, phenomenal. So let me go to the first question I got was, can you show us what students see? So there's a couple of ways to kind of see what the students see. I don't have like a demo student account to show everybody, but there are a couple of places that you can go to find that. So what I'm going to do is present my screen. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Dreambox and log in. Can everyone see my screen and see Dreambox?
Yeah, we're looking at it. Looks like you're looking at the meeting.
Okay, I am. And now you can see Dreambox?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is my main page is a little bit different than yours is because I have all the schools here listed. You'll just have your school that you're part of. But the rest of it is all the same. So there's a couple of spots that you can go to. So my Flex PD, and I'm going to try to actually answer multiple questions while I'm answering one question. So if I forget something or you have more questions, let me know. Okay, so in this PD, there are so many things that you can find. Not only is it a great source of information, but you actually do get a certificate and time stamped on that certificate for each PD. And that is something that you can use when you do your relicensing, or something that you can print out and keep on your file. So the first few are, if you're brand new to Dreambox, or even if you want a little more information or a refresher, we have the Let's Get Started. There's how to analyze data to inform instruction, and a couple of questions were based around that. And Amy did a webinar a couple of weeks on how to analyze that data to inform the instruction and assign things. So I have notes from that too that may be helpful for some people, but this PD is really good. PD on student motivation, interactive whiteboards in math instruction, which is not something we could really use right now. But once we're back in the classroom, that's really handy. And then you have all your PD on all the different lessons and things that that your students are doing. And this is one spot that you can actually see what it looks like on their end. So if I were to click on the PD and scroll down, oh, it's because I've already done this before. Sorry. It's not going where I wanted to. Let's try this. So there's a quiz, and once you take the quiz, you get the certificate. I am not finding this quickly now like I did earlier. Sorry about this, guys. No, I want to start at the beginning. Next. Here we go. Okay. So then you can, it tells you all the things that you're going to go through, but then you can actually see and play with it as part of your lesson. So you'll go through each slide and then it will show you what it looks like from their end. So that PD is a really great place to find that. Another spot, let me go to my notes again here quick, is the resources. So again, when you log into Dreambox, your screen looks like this. You have MyFlex PD at the top, and then you have resources. And when you click on the resources, there's all sorts of great information here as well. And when you scroll down, you can see the introduction, and it's for K-2, 3-5, and 6-8. So if I was a 3-5 teacher, I could click on that. And then I'm going to see all the great things that the kids see. And it's going to walk you through their dashboard. So what it looks like to them, and where they see what games they can choose to click on and that sort of thing. So that's going to take you through that whole thing of what it looks like to them. Dreambox in your class is another tab. This is the one. So Dreambox in your class, and then you can choose which one. So if I were to click on 3-5, it's going to show you that environment and what it looks like. So this is what it actually looks like for 3-5. And you can see for younger grades, it looks just a little bit different. It's a little younger looking, younger themes, and the older students have a little bit older theme. So I hope that sort of answers that question. I think what I'm going to do is pause to see if there was any questions about any of that I just whizzed through. No, we're good? Okay. So then the next question. One of the questions that was asked was, are they shown tutorials? And I have to be 100% honest that I actually don't know the answer to that question. I think that they're sort of walked through what to do, kind of a tutorial, but I don't know what that looks like. So I do have that question out to Amy, and if there is a place that we can see when a student goes on for the very first time, what it looks like for them. I do know that when students go on for the first time, they have that sort of like assessment where it tries to figure out where they are, what lessons they are, what standards they're working on. But I'm not sure that it gives them a full-on, like, this is how you use Dreambox. If there's any teachers on that have used it and have seen and known that can answer that question, that's awesome. I would love to hear from you. Okay. Okay, and then focused assignments was another question. So again, just really quickly, back in the MyFlex PD, there is a part about that, about analyzing the data to inform instruction. And I don't know if there was a more specific kind of question related to that, but what I can do is, again, I'm going to show people's data. So this is obviously confidential. If you see somebody's information, please keep it to yourself. Actually, Cindy, do you mind? You're on. Do you mind if I use your class? Oop, I thought she was on. She is. Oh, she is.
You can, Jenny.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to remember where the buttons are.
I know. I think I forget what it is, but I think there's like a control something you can hit to unmute.
Control V.
Control. Yeah, there you go. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to go into Cindy's class and see her awesome, amazing first graders. And I'm going to scroll down, and I'm actually not seeing any students that have that little orange triangle with the exclamation mark on the inside. But let's see. Let's look at, who do I want to pick on? Let's pick on Abby. So if I look, and there are a couple of alerts that you see here, but those are based on the amount of time that she spent and the amount of lessons that she's done. So if I take a look, Abby is a first grade student. So this is this blue bar that shows where she's at. And it shows that in numbers and operations, if I were to click on that, you can see the standard and you can see that she's proficient in that. If I click on this one, now I'm going to see that she is in progress of this standard. But I know that I have a lesson coming up. And I need to know if Abby and the rest of my students are ready for that lesson or not. So I can go in and assign that particular standard. So down here it says add assignment, and you can create a short-term or a long-term assignment. And those of you that were able to attend Amy's webinar, was it last week, week before? They all squished together. You would have heard her say that she is suggesting to not use the short term while we are doing this new method of learning for us all, and that the long term is a much better option. So if I were to choose long term, and you can choose 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, all the way out to 9 weeks. And then I can choose, let's just say 4 weeks. And then for those of you that use bridges, you can choose bridges. There was a question about that too. I'm not sure why the assignment disappeared. That's another question I have out to Amy to try to figure out why assignments may have disappeared after a week. Because if you assigned it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it should still be there. So I'm going to find that out as well. So I just want the Common Core standards, and I'm going to click that, and it's for grade 1. And I'm just going to say numbers and operations in base 10. And I can choose this cluster. So now it shows you that because I chose 4 weeks, she's going to start that today, and it will be due May 27th. And it will not alert you if she's not trying it, if she's not working on it. It will not alert you of that. I wish it would, but it doesn't. However, you can go into your data and you can see how much progress she's made or if she hasn't started doing that yet. So that is that. And if I go back out to Cindy's class, there were also some questions about what reports to look at or what data to look at. There's so many to choose from. There really are. So if I click on her class again, you can see that there are activity reports, there's standards reports, there's usage reports. And this is another spot where you can assign focus. And here's the roster. So if I go into activity, then I can see, and actually, yeah, I can see all of my kiddos and what they're working on and what lessons they played. So this is another great spot to go to if you want to see what it looks like on their end, if you want to see the game itself and what tools are being used. This is another great spot for that. Then we have the standards. So the standards tab, this spot, I like a lot because I know what standards my students have covered and which ones they haven't covered yet, and I know what unit I'm teaching next. So when you have that, then you can go in and see where everybody is. It helps with your groupings, knowing who's ready, who's not ready. And right now, I am on the first grade tab, and I know that 35% of my kiddos have gotten those standards of the first grade standards, and they've gotten 98% of the kindergarten. So that means somebody somewhere hasn't finished the kindergarten standards yet. So if they're not ready for first grade, I might know why, and I could do some intervention with them based on those, or I could assign something if they're not currently working on it. Let's see. Is there anything else while we're here in reports? Is there any other questions or comments that anybody has?
Nancy wrote something. Maybe was this answered yet, Nancy?
So when I asked, I think I was the one who asked you about tutorials. I guess what I meant by that was, if a student, say for example, my fifth graders are learning standard algorithm for multiplication, do they, like, if they are not getting it, are they offered any sort of like mini lesson or tutorial on that skill?
Yes, that's a great question. It does. So one of the things that I love the most about Dreambox is that it really does encourage kids, and we need to encourage them as well, to get things wrong if we don't know. That it's okay to make those mistakes, because when we make mistakes, then Dreambox is going to give the students the lesson on that. And furthermore, if it's something they're really struggling with, then it's going to take them back a step to review some other processes and make sure they're ready for that next lesson. And so it does like a mini lesson, and it like takes them back to review some things too.
Right.
Yeah, and it automatically does that. We don't have to do a thing.
The other thing is, I think when I went into the professional development, I could open, I'm forgetting now, but I think I could open some of the videos that they had for teachers. But some of the documents, and I think it was because I was working on a Chromebook, I had difficulty opening them, and I can't remember what they showed, but is that, I don't know.
I wonder, Erica, do you have any thoughts on that? That wouldn't be like a Flash Chromebook thing, would it?
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by difficulty.
I couldn't open things. There were, the videos I think I could open, but some of the professional development, I don't know if you have to, I've been having some difficulty just because I'm not used to working on a Chromebook. But that's what I got recently from school, and I've been working on it, and I'm just having some trouble, maybe because they're asking me to download. Is that possible?
It might be. Yeah, a lot of our Chromebooks can't really handle a whole lot of downloading. Also, it depends on the processor of your Chromebook. Maybe it's just really slow and isn't able to handle all the different works. It could also be the internet, if the internet was cutting in and out. It could be a lot of things. It could have been the site itself was being overwhelmed and therefore you couldn't get in.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Maybe I'll just try on my home computer.
yeah, I would try something else to kind of rule things out.
Okay.
Also, Nancy, if you want, you can let me know what PD that was, and I could try to email it to you and see if it'll let you open it there. I don't know if that would make much of a difference or not, but I'd be willing to give that a try.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments about that section, about data or anything else? Okay. Does anybody have anything that I haven't shown yet or haven't covered yet? Do you have any questions?
I have another one. So in math, to assess the fifth graders, I haven't figured out a way that feels right in this environment, the remote environment. And I was thinking that maybe I could use Dreambox if I use the focus. And but how is there something like a quiz that happens at a certain point? Can I see the results of that? Can I see what they're being asked? Only because then I can make sure that my lessons have something of that in there.
That's a great question. They don't give an actual quiz. What they do is they just have the different activities, and after they've done the activities in a number of different ways with, like say it's on a number line, and then maybe it's with money or time or the different tent frames or whatever it is. Once students have gone through all of that and gotten a number of them correct, then they say that, okay, you have mastered this skill because you're able to transfer from one kind of idea to another idea and use it in multiple ways. And so you have mastered this. So if you do your long-term assignment and they mastered that skill, then I think that could almost be your quiz. That would be they have mastered this skill and it took them this many times. So maybe if you're thinking of it in that 1 to 4 kind of scale, if they've mastered it and they mastered it really quickly, like one time and they mastered it, then that might be a 4. That might be your above and beyond, or something that way. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm thinking too that I guess I've been surprised seeing there are some kids who have done many lessons, showing progress, but not necessarily showing proficiency. And I don't know if it's because, I think I was the one who asked the question about having focused instruction, but or focus games, but I don't know if it's because they're being presented with lots of in different areas, or if they're struggling. I can't really tell,
So when you go into the report, it will tell you if they're struggling. It will tell you how many times they have attempted it, and it will tell you if there's a pause button. That means that typically means that they are having a hard time and they don't want to do it anymore. So they stopped it and now they're doing something different. And so those are all signs. So that orange triangle with the exclamation mark in it or pause marks, those are signs that kids are struggling in some way. And that's where you could do some of your one-on-one. There are teacher tools. Did I show you? I didn't show that to you guys yet. Let me do that really quick.
Could you also show us in reports where that is? Because
Yes.
I have very few of those little triangles, orange triangles, but it does seem like kids do a lot of lessons and still just show progress.
Yeah. So let me go. Sorry, runny nose today. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you go down to the bottom, there are Dreambox teacher tools.
Mm-hmm.
And in those teacher tools, you can find the lessons that your kids are working on, and you can try one. So if you do a Zoom call or a Google Meets, you can share your screen and you can try doing some of these. So if I have, I think you said 5th grade. So if I'm doing fractions with multiplication 2, I can view that teacher tool and then share it with them. And you can pause it. Okay, so then you could stop and you could talk about it with your student and talk about what choices you would make and why. And this is the actual game that they would be playing. And because sometimes it's not about the math, believe it or not. It's, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to drag and drop into what. So this is a really great place to go and look at that and go over it with them. So those teacher tools are awesome. Leave. Okay, so now if I go back and go into reports, and Cindy, thank you. We're going to use your class again. Oh, what are you doing to me now? All right, hold on. Just slide back in again. Okay, so now I can see my students again. And this just gives me an overview of the class and how many minutes and the total amount of time that they have had and how many lessons complete, how many standards they've progressed in. So this is sort of like a basic kind of overview of that. All right, then you can, where am I? Say I'm going to look at this student again. Now I can look at what she's been working on and scroll down, and I can see that she completed this standard. There's proficiency on that one. That she's working on this one is this, yeah, this is the second time that she's been working on it. And if I go down one more, now I can see a pause. So she has stopped working on this for some reason. So if I check in with her about that, she could tell me, and maybe it's because she's tried it a whole bunch of times and she's feeling frustrated, maybe because she just doesn't like it, maybe because she doesn't understand how to manipulate things around. So I could check in with her on that. And if we go down, then I can see like this is the first time she's worked on that one. And there's another pause mark. So again, that can tell me that, I'm wondering why she stopped working on that one. And it looks like she's working on quite a few things at one time. So that might be a thing too. She's bouncing because they do get choices, which is really important for our kids to have choice. But sometimes it doesn't work for us because we really want them to work on one idea. So that can be a little bit tricky that way sometimes. If I look at my standards for this student, then I can scroll right down and see exactly what standard she's working on and how much progress that she's made. So she's almost halfway here. And I can see those same standards. If there was something that they were struggling with, it would let me know here. Does that help? I do know we are a little bit over time, but are there any other questions? No. So Nancy asked, if we have assigned focus, does the student just see games on those standards? No. So they will still see some of the other things that they were working on and the one or two things that you assigned.
So can they, what I guess what I was wondering is when I assigned focus, they had the choice to work on something other than the assignment. And so that's not a must. It's a choice for them.
It is a choice for them. When Amy did her webinar with us, she said that one thing that as a teacher you can say, I'm really interested in seeing how you do on this, or something like have a conversation with the student saying, I would like you to work on this assignment. So, blank at a blank times that you're on Dreambox, could you work on this assignment, please?
So when I ask them to do that, how do I describe, what do they see? Like, isn't there a little icon?
There is an icon. Trying to remember what the icon looks like.
The pages of a calendar?
Yes, it is. It is. It's like a little notebook kind of thing with a star on it, I think.
Okay, and so I should tell them to look for that, and because I was just concerned that they weren't really aware that there was an assignment on there. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Would it be beneficial to have at some point have another Dreambox Lunch and Learn, or do people have specific things they'd really like to know more about that I could do a screencast and then put that on the YouTube channel?
I think that it could be, yeah. Just
Nancy, did you attend either of the webinars that Amy Johnson did?
No, I wasn't aware. There was one I was aware of, but not the second one. So
same with me. I was
Nancy,
waiting for that second one.
What school are you from?
West Rutland.
Oh, that explains it. Okay, it's because you guys are brand new.
Okay.
And you will have that one available to you in the fall.
In the fall. Wow.
Yes. So they're going to do another one for you guys in the fall. Well, I mean, we could do it before then, but I wanted to make sure that you guys had enough experience with it, that looking at the data enough times and there was enough student data in there. So Amy Tori, you and I can have a conversation too about when we think that could be. So it could be even in May or June, if that makes sense, for everybody. I see you nodding yes. All right, is there anything else?
Yeah, I'll ask all the teachers what they'd prefer, if they would prefer something in May or June, or wait till the fall, and I'll see what the general consensus is.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Great.
much, Jenny.
So if there are any questions I didn't answer or you think of something later, email me and I can really quickly do like a screencast to walk you through that part of it too. I actually love doing them. They're kind of fun now that I've learned. And anything, anytime, just please reach out and let me know. And like I said, if I can't answer something, Amy Johnson is fantastic from Dreambox and she gets back to me very quickly, typically.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy the sunshine.